For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website betchriscanada.net.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by betchriscanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Friday, January 17th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
It is the Hockey Betting Podcast. Heading to the weekend, Brian Blessing, Cam Stewart. We are off to the races. We're having a great time doing this, and I'm telling you, what we're really enjoying is the feedback we're getting from a lot of people. People are starting to pay attention, starting to listen to this. T. Simpson LV on Twitter. This was such a great show! ! We want to thank you that you're so easily amused.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, bottom line is, I don't care if you're amused or whatever. You can
barking dogs, baby. Hey, come on,
down boy. Yeah, hey Brian,
I got a buddy. Let me tell you something.
Upgrade to the organic instead of Alpo. My dog gets real food. What is it?
Buddy,
Blue Wolf or something? Yeah,
buddy. I gotta. We're not. Clearly, when you hear us talk and speak, you're part of. I'm sure people are going, "Who are these two morons? And how did they get this thing?" But because we're certainly not Einstein. But I got a buddy. I got to tell you something. I love guys like this, and I ain't gonna say his name. But I got a buddy, and for 4 years, I just said a monkey could do this. Okay. Play the dad's trip. Play it blind. Just play it. You will make money. Oh, yeah, but there's certain situations. Shut up. Are you listening to me? Play the dad's trip. Every game you find out about, you will just make. Last year, you made a decent amount. 2 years ago, it was a Brinks truck.
Yep.
And this year, it's doing it again. The Sabres dads walk into Dallas plus 175 and win 4-1.
You said it, Brian.
Just play it.
And I've also been doing, I don't want to give ourselves the Barry Horowitz because, sometimes I'm wrong, but I got guys on Twitter or, direct messaging me. How are you taking the Bruins against the Penguins? It's a situation. That's what we're going to try to do on these shows, right? Pittsburgh feeling good. Sidney Crosby came back. Game back in Boston. The line goes down to 20 cents. It opens at 35. Boston beats them 4-1. It's just, these are situations, right? You look for situations. You said it, the dad's trip, bad lines. Another bad line last night. We're on Minnesota. Why is Tampa Bay only $145.50? We probably would have made it $65.70. Situations like that. So,
let me ask you, honestly,
bad lines are either stay away from or to go the opposite way. Hey, I told you about, remember Montreal the other night, and I came back to Montreal against Philly last night, and they win. So
I know, but let me ask you something. And I'm not knocking odds makers. These guys are amazing in the jobs they do. Hockey, we've always said hockey's the best sport to bet, that they don't move a number on a backup goalie. But I'm just telling you, Cam, how many times do you got to get hit in the temple with a 2x4 before you learn to duck? Right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I was like, so honestly, if you were an odds maker, I know if I were, and I found out that a road team had the dads with them, I'm telling you, Cam, it would be worth at least 30 cents on the line to me.
Yeah, I was going to say
20. And they ignore it.
Yep, I know. It's great. Hey, let them keep ignoring it, right? And part of the gig is hopefully Brian and I can find you guys some weird lines and we can capitalize like last night. Now, other than Arizona, it was a great night on the ice, and I played a lot of games, and these dogs were barking. The Sabres up plus 180. Minnesota plus 150. Like, these were big pooches. I'm not talking about purse dogs here. We're talking about Great Danes. They're coming in, Brian. Let's do it again.
We're going to do it again. And I'll tell you what, just for our loyal listeners, the early bird gets the worm. And I'll remember, but just to throw this out there, because in many instances, it's hard to find out about it. But let me look. St. Louis, their dad's trip is February 11th at Anaheim, where they'll probably be $1.70 favorite. But the back end of their road trip will be at Vegas, where Vegas will probably, and we'll see where Vegas is by then. Vegas would probably be, I would think, $1.30, $1.40, plus you get inflated numbers certainly out here, no matter when Vegas takes the ice. But February 11th, February 13th, Blues Dad's trip, just mark it down, make a note for yourself in case Cam and I have a brain cramp by then, which is possible.
Oh, it's very possible, Brian. So, yeah, no, it's just, let's keep the train rolling, buddy. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there's certain angles that we have to play, and hopefully we can keep on winning them, man. That's what it's all about. Plus nights. At the end of the night, me and my buddy Vince, who you're going to meet at the Super Bowl, what's the goal of the day? Plus. You know what I mean? Depending on a couple of games, a lot of games, just end the night before you put your head on the pillow with plus money, and we could stay in this game for a while, and hopefully the listeners are hitting some of these winners too, Brian, because that would be great. That's good for business, and let's keep the train rolling.
All right, buddy, let's go. Only 3 games on a Friday night, and I'm not all that enamored with any of the 3. I like
-1.5, but they're going to be like,
honestly, let's do this. Let's go. Carolina's 220, totals 5.5 hosting Anaheim. Pittsburgh's at Detroit. Pittsburgh -225. I still insist Gallant will be there in the next 10 days.
I agree.
Total on that game is 6. And the only one I'm going to consider tonight, Cam, and if you want to talk me off it, make the case. Total, it's Tampa at Winnipeg. Winnipeg -$1.20. The total was 6.5. It is now down to 6. But an out-of-conference game, I can just see, a little lack of familiarity here. Tampa's coming off a loss.
I like
Minnesota
Tampa tonight.
I think Tampa does. I mean, the price would be right on Tampa, but I got a funny feeling we could see some goals in that one. So I lean. Yeah. The only game I'd even consider playing tonight, and sometimes saying no or pass, the best thing you can do, I would consider Tampa and the over tonight.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay. I lean to the over. I'm probably more going to take the side. I like the way Winnipeg has played lately, but Tampa Bay, after a brutal performance against the Wild, this is a weird team, Brian. They take nights off in bad situations. It's kind of like, it seems to me, it's still the Stanley Cup playoff hangover for these guys. They understand. I guess they don't want to beat their heads through the wall before they get to the playoffs. That's what I kind of see with this team, because the talent, they can come back and beat any team any night. We've seen it. They can do it. They have so much talent, but they also take their foot off the gas a lot. But tonight against Winnipeg, coming off a loss, that's when I'm going to jump on the Lightning, ride the Lightning.
All right, well, okay, here we go. Can't help myself. Maybe something's changed here. What if I told you Anaheim and Carolina?
Anaheim won big last night as a huge pooch.
If it's Anaheim and Carolina and I told you it was Gibson versus Mrazek, what would you do?
I'd go under.
Okay. If it's Ryan Miller versus James Reimer, what would you do?
Probably go over.
It's James Reimer and Ryan Miller tonight.
Yeah. It's hard to trust Ryan Miller. God, this guy's still in the league. I remember the time we met him at the Big Tree in Buffalo. Brian, when Gabe pissed all over the parking lot. What a night that was. Ryan Miller was still a Sabre. What a party. And then Mike from Buffalo comes in with a brick of cheese in his own cooler at the bar. That wasn't a good look. It's like, hey, the beers are only $3. Unbelievable.
Oh, that day was historic. You guys terrorized Ryan Miller in the Big Tree, and then you're doing the radio show. We're outside, and Rob Ray and Matthew Barnaby, who are more than willing to chuck nucks, are looking at you two guys going, we should drop these guys just on principle alone.
Yes. Razor was going to knock my teeth out. More Morency than me. But anyway, it was quite a good day. I can't believe Ryan Miller.
Well, here's how terrifying that story is that if you can envision this, Cam Stewart was the voice of reason that day.
Oh, I was. I know. I am the voice of reason a lot when booze is involved, because I'm kind of like a big bear. You've seen me, Brian. Like, I can drink pretty good, like with the best of them. I've won drinking contests over turkeys in Europe.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Took this kid from California out to the woodshed. Oh, Canadians can't drink.
I'll tell you what.
3 beer steins later, this guy's on the ground. I'm like, who's next?
Listen, in this, I weep for the future. In this era, with kids growing up. But I'll tell you one thing: if there was one thing, if you were going to get a participation ribbon for anything, at least it might as well be in a drinking contest.
Yeah, I agree, Brian. I agree. But back to the point with the Miller time. Yeah, with Miller, anything's possible. Carolina might put up a 5 spot themselves in this game, and that's the thing. You can't make a big deal about goalies all the time, but with those two, the opposite of what we like. And Reimer can stand on his head, or he can be horrible. When he's horrible, I've seen it with the Leafs. It gets real ugly. I like the over, and it's 6 too, right?
Let's go Saturday.
If I got a 5.5, I'd pound it. But 6, yes. What do we got?
Gatling gun. Let's go. Washington at the Islanders. Islanders have lost 3 of 4. The lone win over Detroit. Congratulations. Washington minus 15 cents. Totals 5.5 to the under. I think there are a lot better opportunities on the board here, but
I agree.
I think Trotz could sit there and say maybe there's a mini statement game, but it's a day game. No thanks.
I'm probably going to pass. I see the total though at 5.5. People would be thinking about the Islanders play overs right now. I know that streak's eventually going to end. I think Barry probably wants to play a more defensive game too, but afternoon game, there's a lot of factors that kind of skew things, but every time the Islanders and Washington get together, 4-3, 5-4, you take a look, Brian, at the recent history. They don't play unders. So I start the day slow. You got to dip your toe in the water because it's a big Saturday card. I would probably have a small play on the over and lean Capitals, but small play on the over.
All right. Hey, listen, let's just cut to the chase. Full disclosure. We've been winning a lot. Took one in the chops last night.
Oh yeah, Arizona
was just they were hideous.
They are hideous, man. Like I watch this team. Some nights they're good, some nights they're bad. There's no team more inconsistent than the Arizona Coyotes. You watch them some nights and go, "Wow, man, these guys."
Well, that was Vancouver's first game home from a cross-country trip. I mean, that's an angle that's printed money for us. Okay, it didn't work, so be it. On to the next thing. But the one thing you get with Arizona, I mean, they go in 4-game heaters and 4-game benders. I don't know what to do with these guys.
I'll say this. Edmonton, I watched that game against Nashville. Sure, they got it done. But, it's Connor McDavid. I've actually noticed he plays well in these day games. I think isn't that a day game too? It's a little bit earlier maybe. It's not a regular start time. But I got to say, I have to lean to Arizona in a bounce-back situation. They're not the type of team, Brian. I think they're at the end of their streak. Kind of like the way I jumped on Boston against Pittsburgh. I expect the Coyotes' best effort in Edmonton, and they're going to be a dog in this game. I have a lean to Arizona. I don't love these games, but those are the leans right now.
Hey, this could be, seriously, if not a collision course. Well, I think it happens. I really do. I think at some point –
Western Conference Final, Blues Avalanche?
No, I was going to say that, but then I'm like, wait a minute, no, because they would play each other before just because of the stupid format.
Yes, I know.
Right? No, they would play themselves in the second round.
Yep.
Right? I mean, you got it's a dumbass thing. But anyway, I think this is absolutely a playoff preview. Colorado's laying $1.36, hosting St. Louis. Total on the game is 6. Listen, the St. Louis team, they're big, they're powerful, but they score, and it's not playoffs yet. I think I see goals in this game.
Yeah, I would actually think the same. I think most people's reaction would be to the under. As for the Avalanche, they finally put it together. They haven't been playing very well. I'm not going to lay 40 cents with Colorado in this game. Maybe look at St. Louis, but yeah, I like the over in this game. I agree with you. I have a feeling too. When you have these type of games, things get physical, penalties, it could be rough, and that's the thing. Special teams will play a factor, and if we get lots of power play time, that really helps our total. So, so lean to the over at 6.
Calgary's at Ottawa. I'm telling you, Cam, Calgary's right back in the thick of things.
Be careful with this game. I smell something weird with this game.
I was just going to say to you, Calgary's got – Rittich stood on his head. I mean, Toronto could have scored 10.
Like don't kid yourself, Calgary. You got lucky.
Exactly right. I'm not saying smoke and mirrors, but I don't think Calgary's and they're in the weak Pacific Division. I think they make the playoffs, but there ain't nothing. They're not setting my hair ablaze.
No, I'll probably fade them first round of the playoffs if they get in anyway. After remember when Colorado dummied these guys? I don't trust this team. I'll tell you one thing, Ottawa. Vegas beat them 4-2, but still, again, they didn't quit. They got down early in that game, and they made it interesting, right, Brian? I'm saying it's hard to pull the trigger, but Ottawa is a home dog getting 30, 35 cents. That looks good to me. People will be all over Calgary in this game. I might make Ottawa on my card. I can tell you one thing. The Flames will not be bet.
We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST. You get LA and Philly. If memory serves, let me just double check. I think this is the last game it is of their Eastern, 5-game Eastern. Well, it's not. Well, it's Vegas, then an Eastern road swing. Kings have been on the road forever. I like the over in this game.
LA and Philly, yeah, it was actually scary. I remember the big play we had the other night. I was so upset. I'm like, oh, God, Philly, St. Louis, it's 1-0. And then when Philly took the lead, I'm like, yes. Actually, remember I told you too, Brian, I thought Philly was a dangerous dog that night, getting plus 180. They end up winning that game, and the game goes over. So both of us were happy. Double winner. 5.5 seems attainable. I'll tell you one thing, I won't be laying it down 186 with the Flyers. I'll probably pass on the side. I lean over in the hockey game as well.
Vegas laying 30 cents.
Here we go. Am I going to take Vegas again? Marc-Andre Fleury, Quebec guy. A lot of French Canadians on the team. The Vegas will be pretty. When you go to Montreal, the mecca of hockey, people talk about Toronto. Let's give Montreal some love. Their fans are hardcore as hell. I got to tell you, Vegas will bring their A game. They're not going to take the foot off the pedal after beating Ottawa. I'll take them again. If the line says 25, 30 cents, I'll be on Vegas.
Hey, to talk about a dumbass, I mean, Circus Sports here, and my schedule's just so nuts. I got to get down there. You got to have 3, 4, 5 apps. You can shop for numbers, and I got to get down there. They let you do cross-sport parlays and all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
But yesterday I had Mike Palm on my radio show from Circus Sports. I said, I got to ask you, Mike, what? And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but I'm pretty sure he said they were hammering the no. I said, you had to put a prop up. Will Mark Stone score a goal?
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah, they're hammering the no. I'm like, Mark Stone, come on, man. I mean,
hammering the no.
He's got to come out of his was the best player on the ice. He went back to Ottawa. I mean, it was
people not know what the hell's going on. The guy played in Ottawa forever. Okay, sure. Hammer the no.
DeBoer's there. He did next to nothing, right? Just throw him out there. He's watching. He's going to observe.
Yeah, what's he going to do?
No, he's going to observe. But they responded. They did give them credit.
Well, they have personal pride. It's not about the they have to show up and eventually win a game. That's why I don't like the firing. I would have liked to see what they would have done against Ottawa and Montreal. And if they lose all those games, then I still wouldn't do it, but then we could talk about it at least. I just didn't like the timing, but Vegas is going to go on a heater here. This is a game they could win, Brian. It seems like a short price. I know Montreal's playing better. They beat Philadelphia. Lyon, the backup goalie, was in for Philly due to the injury to Carter Hart, but I got to take Vegas in this spot. Don't you?
Yeah, I would be. I think they wrapped this thing up before the break.
Yeah. And the next one, the Leafs, the way they played against Calgary and lost, I'll be taking the Leafs in parlays against Chicago all night long. I wouldn't be surprised if I like the this is the thing. A lot of people smash the over. I got to be honest, when we give ourselves pats on the back, we have to be true when we got it wrong. I thought the Leafs-Calgary game would be something like 6-3, 6-4.
So did I.
It wasn't. That was a wrong pick. But this time, Toronto and Blackhawks, that game,
Wait a minute.
when these guys get together, 8-5, it gets stupid when these teams get together. I blindly bet the over.
Yeah, they're saying Leonard and Anderson. The only thing I would say to you,
I really don't care.
I know, but you you got to pay attention whenever the Leafs say they're going to give Anderson a rest, and then it's like a shuttle. You're on the rocket to the over.
Yeah, I still, even with Anderson, he's still not at his complete best. Played a little bit better recently, but he's had a bad stretch. He's not 100% for sure, and Chicago will still get some goals with the guys that they have. I think the Leafs will probably beat them around 5-3, 6-4. It's like I expect tons of goals in that game, and the Leafs.
Florida's at Detroit laying a big number. I'm telling you, man, I know Detroit is pitiful, right? But they win every fourth, fifth game. They're not going to get 50 points, Cam. But I'm telling you, this Florida team, I trust them as far as I could collectively throw them.
I agree. And I know it's 6.5, but you'd be looking for the over. Look at the way they almost collapsed against the Kings the other night. They're volatile. The Panthers have, goaltending issues, defensive issues. They make dumb decisions, lots of talent. I'd be very careful. If this game, I know we're talking a lot of overs. We got to find some unders there.
But the butcher.
Oh, it's salami? Yeah. It might be the butcher time there. Eh? We got to go grand salami because it looks like Florida-Detroit. Detroit will still get a couple goals on Florida too, but yeah, 6.5, it'll probably deter some people, but I like the over. I like the over as well, and I'm not laying 82 cents with Florida. I don't even think I'll put it in parlays. I think I'm going to pass on the side in this game.
Is Columbus good enough to be $1.95 favorite?
No, this is where I jump on the dog.
I know.
You gotta feel this stuff out, right? So Columbus won their last game. I'll give Gabe credit too. He had the under and Columbus, so hit both on that game last night. I stayed away from that game, but I'll come back to New Jersey as a plus 135 40 dog. This is the type of game the Devils can win. If Blackwood's in net there, I know eventually Schneider's going to play, so guys keep on top of that. He's not done yet. The Devils have backup goaltending issues, so we got to check the tenders. But I got to take New Jersey. They're not, they could show up some nights. They even grinded with Washington for a while. They made it interesting before the Caps pulled away. Give me the Devils at plus 140. There's my dog. I found him.
Well, okay. Now I will tell you this, and I said blindly play it.
Yep.
I would do it, but I would tread lightly. The Sabres are playing well again, and the funny thing is, I threw this out there before the Vegas game that if they're 0-3 against Boston, 0-4 against Tampa, and went 1-1 against St. Louis.
Yeah.
So if you throw those 8 losses out, you got to play everybody. They're like 9 or 10 over 500 against the rest of the league. So now it's the dad's trip. The funny thing is, just like I'm saying, the odds makers don't pay attention. I'm looking at some goalie sites, and they're all listing Ullmark. Cam, when the dad's trip is the dad's trip,
both goalies play. Yeah.
All right, Ullmark played in Dallas. They're listing Ullmark. Now, the problem is, I really do believe they'll play Hutton. You got to do it. It's for the good of the room, right? That's why you do it. And he's like on an 11-game losing streak, and literally, this is it. Because I'm telling you, I don't know what the answer would be or what they can do with him. But you're in the throes of they're back within 5 of the playoffs, so they've got 9 of 10 coming up at home after the break against a lot of winnable teams. And if your backup goalie's playing 500 hockey for you, the Sabres will be in the playoffs. So I think he gets, this is it. I swear to God, this is the guy's swan song. So I like goals. And Buffalo won without Eichel scoring. They won 4-1 in Dallas. So I think you got to like the over in the game. And I got a.
I don't know. Like, are they going to play for him? That's the thing. Like, they understand this too. The Buffalo Sabres are playing better hockey right now.
But it's not Cam. It's not whether they're playing for him. It's that he lets two like he doesn't.
I know he does.
He doesn't hug the post.
No,
he lets 2 garbage goals a game in. They're doing all the right things, and the goalie's a sieve. And you do know, Cam, nothing's changed. If you put a sieve inside a sieve, it's still a sieve.
Yes, I understand the sieve concept, but I don't know, man. I don't like to go against guys. Is he going to show up one night? But you're right. So you're telling me you're taking Buffalo again in the over?
I would say. Well, I think
I can tell you one thing. Nashville's going to be a huge favorite, and I'll tell you, they're one of the worst favorites in the business. Talk to the Anaheim Ducks about it.
Seriously, Nashville's 205.
Nashville sucks. I know what Nashville is. I don't even think they're a good hockey team anymore. Like, I don't know what to think of the Nashville Predators. Are they good? I don't know. Like, I look at them and I'm like, really? No, I don't see Nashville doing anything. They got good players on their team. You know, they didn't listen to Laviolette. He got fired. Like, what motivates? Like, Nashville should be way better than they are, but they're not.
Honestly, I think there's a game Eichel goes off. Eichel's had great success against them. I like Buffalo in the over. I like the over, and you have to play it no matter who they are. If it's the dad's trip, play it.
Okay, that sold me. Buffalo over. Let's go. Dallas, Minnesota. I'll take Dallas in that spot. A bounce-back game after losing to Buffalo. Minnesota's one of those teams. They get a big home win. I don't know if they can really sustain it, but I'll probably lean to Dallas in that spot. Brian, you got an opinion?
I watched a game start to finish last night, Cam, and I told you, and the 700 Club was on, and I did watch it. And the funny thing was, Buffalo beat Dallas playing Dallas's game,
which is great.
Buffalo kept icing the puck, slowing the game down, covered it. And then Buffalo killed him in the first and third periods. Dallas threw the sink at him in the second, but Buffalo managed the game in the third period. They just completely frustrated Dallas. And, oh, by the way, a big injury note for this game. The Heiskanen kid. He took a
Heiskanen's out. That's a huge.
He went to the quiet room and he never came back. So I would imagine he's not playing in this game. And that's the one guy that gets them out of their own end.
That's true. That's very dangerous. Okay, I'll keep on top of that. So I think I'm probably going to have to pass on this game.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Maybe the under, because if Heiskanen's out too, Dallas is going to have to play. You want to talk boring? They're going to hit the super boring switch. They're going to have to do like this might be a 2-1 game here. So
is there such a thing?
Yeah, there is. There is.
That's good to know.
Super boring. Yeah, that you said it. Watching the Dallas Stars is like, yeah, I find myself, you get the jitters when you're falling asleep. You wake up, yeah, still 0-0. Perfect. Yeah, I'm done.
The snooze button. I've refreshed the snooze button 7 times during the game.
Yeah, they're boring as hell.
Second intermission. I got to say, the second intermission interview was great.
That's great. Yeah, you're waiting for the player interview. Hi guys. Yeah, we got to get the puck out of it.
Keep it simple. Get it out of our own end. Dump and chase. Play smart. Simple road game.
Try not to be too pretty.
All right, cool. I can go back to sleep. The game's on. The game's on. I can go back.
Thank you. San Jose and Vancouver. Who knows? That's the final game on the board.
We know each other too good. I was going to say, I wouldn't go near this game
Flip
with
a coin.
Money.
San Jose's ice cold. Vancouver. You know what? Vancouver should beat them, but this is the type of game that they'll lose. So, yeah, pass. We don't have to bet every game.
Oh, there's a lot of passes.
No, we didn't pass. No, we got a lot of stuff going on. Buffalo over. Devils is the pooch.
All right, let's write these down. Like St. Louis, Colorado over. Me personally.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I think Arizona, and I'm not going to say it's my favorite play. I think they'll get it together against Edmonton. We said
really?
Very wary. Yeah,
you trust them?
Yeah, I do. I try this game. This is the type of time I like to come back to a team right when everyone's off the team.
I'm a real popular guy in Edmonton, by the way.
Why, they like you in Edmonton or no?
No, not this week.
No, but people understand.
I was on a good buddy of ours up at CHED, Reed Wilkins.
Oh yeah.
The Gallant thing. He got fired. I do a show occasionally. So and then of course just so okay. So who do you think will come out of the playoffs in the Pacific? I said. Vegas, Calgary, and Arizona. Are you going to hang up the phone? I mean, come on, the Edmonton thing. I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl are terrific. I mean, these guys have got to wear down.
You think? No, I like Arizona in that spot. You like the over in Colorado, St. Louis. We said be very careful. Ottawa might be a dangerous pooch, so we won't be taking Calgary in that game.
I like the Kings Philly over
5.5. I like Vegas in Montreal. To get a win there. I like Toronto to kill Chicago in the over, but you said be wary with Leonard and Anderson. Yeah, so we got a lot of things on the card.
You know, and honestly, boy, the one thing on the Vegas front, they played hard last night. But know this, in the short term, the residual effect, okay, the coaching change outweighed the team playing hard against the guy coming back into their barn.
Yeah.
But in the short term, and he's all smiles and he's saying the right thing and everything. You know, Peter DeBoer he's watching every one of these guys,
yep,
you know, with laser beams. And if they were going to pull the trigger on the Gallant thing, don't kid yourself. You know, something big. And listen, they almost got Erik Karlsson at the deadline 2 years ago. They did get Stone at the deadline this year. This year, they're going to go and they're going to get a stud defenseman. And who it is they're going to give up to get that guy, I don't know. But I think all these guys are going to – and by the way, William Karlsson's out of nowhere, out week. But these guys know they're all of a sudden the Wizard of Oz and Follow the Yellow Brick Road has turned into a job audition for these guys.
Oh, for sure.
So they're playing hard.
That's a really good point because
puck line might be in play here.
Yeah, there's a new sheriff in town. He's not screwing around. I like DeBoer, too. It feels like running into my ex-girlfriend who hated me. That was like his line because there's a lot of hate between Vegas and San Jose over the years. So it's kind of an even more interesting hire. And some new fans to the game are probably like, what the hell would you hire this guy? Like, we hate everything about the Sharks. But
all right, well, don't leave us hanging. Let's don't leave us hanging. Let's address this. You know, I mean, I love when you come out to Vegas. 6 minutes after you're here and I'm driving you to drop you off at the hotel, I'm like, when is the return flight?
Yeah, exactly. Get this guy out of here.
Oh, yeah. So, but I love you. So why does your ex-girlfriend hate you? I mean, what, pray tell, what led to said calamity?
What? No, that's what DeBoer said about Vegas or whatever. Like, that's what he said
something. You said something about my old girlfriend.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, Brian. See, this is why I'm stupid. There was some quote talking about DeBoer.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was about visiting. He goes, going to Vegas is like running into my old girlfriend who I broke up with poorly type of thing because the fans hate him for the most part. They don't know him yet because of his days in San Jose. Like, it was weird for him to be the coach of the Vegas Golden Knights. They'll get used to it. That's kind of what I meant. Sorry, that was bad delivery on my part. Or my ex-girlfriends all love me, buddy. I treat them
because
they're happy that I'm gone and they're with some other guys. You know, so we're all winners.
People can turn this off. I'll sit here and talk to you for 45 minutes. I'll be Dr. Phil. I'm here for you. If we need to address any personal issues, anything I can do.
You've seen my current girlfriend, so yeah,
the lovely
Lisa. Party. She likes. We'll bring our A game, Brian. Don't worry.
Cam, where are you?
Vodka! Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm glad we're staying at another hotel this year. I told her, maybe we should actually have a vacation and like go in the pool and like lie in a lawn chair instead of like just drinking and playing blackjack and slots all the 24 hours.
It's like God, Lisa's not going to talk to either one of us, but it's like the third day you're here, you know, and I'll come down. Yeah, we're at the. What's the joint? We're at the El Cortez. So I park at the El Cortez. I walk in. Oh, there's the lovely Lisa. She's sitting at a bar. Hi, Lisa. Where's Cam? Who cares? Okay, have a nice day.
Enjoy your video poker. It's all good, Brian. It's all good. We're looking forward to this trip. It'll be a lot of fun.
Dead man walking.
Yes.
It is
you nailed that one. I hope our picture is so accurate. Anyway, have a good one, buddy.
The best, my brother. I love you. Have a great weekend as always.
Too, man. Hit some winners.
The Hockey Betting Podcast.
You've been listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, BetChrisCanada.net.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At betchriscanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling, and do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.